Oh, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? My goodness. Feels like it's been forever. What's it been? Like nearly, no, probably about a couple of weeks or something. Well, well, well. I know. I was thinking earlier, like, I've got to remember how to stream. Where is everything? Fortunately, I've got it dialed in my head. Hopefully, the audio's working though. That's always a popular screw up, isn't it? The audio not working. Mm. Oh, celebratory whiskey and coke. Return. Something feels wrong here. I don't know what it is. I feel like a light's missing or something. The lighting's not very good, is it? Let's try and fix. There we go. That's balanced between the dining room and the kitchen. If the light does fall on me, oh, that's way better. That's way better. If the light does fall on me, we can all have a good laugh at my expense. Yeah, this thing. Hang on. We need some more. There we go. I knew something fell off. Shine a bit of blue there. Much better. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. How's everyone doing? I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. I've been itching to get back to this. This is something that we started back a couple of weeks ago, maybe just over, and it turned out pretty well. I think was this your idea, Kaya, of combining animals? And so we ended up combining a wolf and a raven. And it sort of came together quite nicely. But then obviously going on holiday, me and Poppy went to South Korea. I proposed to her. The whole thing that happened. Still can't quite believe it was all real, to be honest. But yeah, started this before going. And I've just been thinking about it ever since starting it. But here we are. I didn't want to go and I could have just done it on the plane. I really wanted to, but I thought this is going to be a pretty cool one to do live so people can see the process as well. Hey, photo manipulator. So, where did we get up to? I've got to remember. Also, it's way too hot in here. I put a hoodie on thinking I'm going to be cold. And now I'm just sat here melting. Alright, let's take that off. Oh, oh. Brand new hoodie. Loved it. Took it on holiday. 10 days. 10 days of eating everything, everywhere. Didn't get a single thing on it. Didn't spill a drop of liquid. Didn't get any food on it. Despite eating all sorts of messy Korean food, we did not get anything on it. Got on the plane. Got food on it. And now I've been back home for like whatever. It was like a day, and then it was just covered in cat hair. It's just literally, it's black, and now it's covered in cat hair because obviously. Can AI destroy the graphic design fields? No, it's just going to evolve and change like everything in life. Hey, Hannah. Right, where did we get to? I've got to remember actually because I've not seen this file for a while. So I've got my exposure checker there. I think last time it was literally just composing the scene. We stuck rocks in. We've got a mage lady person there who I think is going to cast some sort of spell, maybe. Don't know, we'll see. And it's cool for scale as well. It's sort of having a person in there gives this creature that we might have to call buckwheat now instead of buckbeak a sense of scale. We've added some trees that have blended weirdly well into the scene. Apart from the obvious cut off at the bottom there, that looks weirdly like it should be there. So that's nice because it saves me some work. We've got one hanging on the side here. Again, it just gives that sense of depth, like this tree is closer than this one. And we've got some terrible gamma mismatch over here with this landscape that attempts to blend the snowy mountain in the background with what's happening in the foreground. We might fix that. We might just put loads of fog. I have a feeling there might be a lot of fog in this one, so we might not need to cover it anyway. And then, of course, we've got a massive mountain thing and this chap here. So, oh yeah, and we've got some rocks over here as well. So these are much closer. So again, they just frame the whole thing. So composure, or composing, balancing the exposure, and then color correction, which wasn't too arduous either. There wasn't a lot to the color correction, so it's pretty straightforward. But now we come on to probably the most impactful part of the process early on, and that is adding the shadows in. So obviously you can see here, if you zoom in, these rocks, they're just kind of floating. Obviously we've got to fix that as well. These poor little flowers are kind of holding that tree up. They're doing a tremendously good job. But when we start adding shadows in, we have to look at where the shadows and the lighting and all that stuff is in the images we've used. So you can see here, the light at the moment on this one. Let's get a color and do a nice big arrow. Oh, we've not done one of these in a while. So the lighting is clearly coming from this direction for this particular image. So we've got the shadows on this side here. Yeah, on the underside, and then we've got these like big bright highlights going along there. So we've got to make everything logically make sense. So over here, we're probably going to have to add some shadows as well, make this a bit darker. Some of these aren't too bad. These have got the shadows there. They sort of align quite nicely. This bit looks awful. It's not even in focus, so I don't know what we're going to do there. You can see where it's been very lazily retouched by yours truly, but we'll try and fix that, hopefully. And oh, we've mixed a bit of it in here. It's like a more sort of granite type of rock. Apparently I've decided to mix that in with the mossy rock for some unknown reason. Trying to be creative. Yeah, so we need to get some shadows in down here, shadows in here. So the light is, again, for this image, coming from this direction. It's a bit more subtle, but we can then reinforce it by adding some more shadows. Same here as well. You can see slightly different direction. But we might get away with it. So here it's almost like... Yeah, it's because I've mixed different images together. Here you've got these highlights along the top. So it kind of suggests the light is coming this way towards it. And then this bit's in shadow. So we might have to just add a little bit more light coming through here. Just to try and fudge it and make it look believable. So that is today's agenda. And we'll see how far we get. You definitely don't want to rush it. And this whole first thing, you might look at this whole first thing and go, that doesn't look particularly good or retouched or whatever. You know, it looks very, very rough around the edges. This took about 2 hours. So this part of the process, these fundamentals, they do matter and they do take a lot of time. So don't start, if you start a piece of work and in an hour it looks terrible still, honestly, don't worry. Sometimes it takes me several hours of just going through the fundamental foundational steps to get to something that I look at and go, okay, this is a solid basis. I can then build something from here. If you're expecting a masterpiece in 2 or 3 hours, maybe you're very good and very talented, unlike me. If you can do it that quick, great. But for me, this is probably going to take between 6 to 12 hours to finish, I think. And I've been doing this for quite a few years now as well. So I've gotten a lot faster at doing it. It still takes a long time. So don't beat yourself up if you've put an hour or two in and it isn't a masterpiece. You think the wing is too small? Yeah, you might be right. There's something about the shape of the wing that is... It's not far off, but it just feels like a bit straight. Like it needs to sort of curve out a little bit more and be a bit more dramatic. I don't know. Not really sure what I mean. Something sort of like that, maybe. Do you see what I mean? So it sort of kind of just tapers in at the bottom a bit more, whereas this version sort of just goes like that. It's a bit more like a shark fin. So I don't know. I don't know. And I could go and mess around with that and get that final before going to this next step. But I think what I'm going to do first of all is going to focus on the landscape. So I'm not going to touch Birdie Bird because Birdie Bird, what the hell's that, Dan? Shut up. because he's on top of the rocks. So I'm just gonna boop, get rid of him, and then do the landscape. And we can turn off Mage Lady as well, because they're not important right now. We just need to get the whole scene looking right. And I need some music. Let's put something cool on. I've got that weird feeling that I've forgotten something. So, Andrea, if something happens, I trust you to tell me, yell at me that something's gone wrong. Okay. Right, so what have we got? We've got all this layered up, which is a good start, Dan. And we kind of want to go front to back with it as well, which will make sense if we get as far as adding fog in as well. So these trees, nope, that's their rocks, Dan. Trees, we've got tree 4, we've got tree 1. Right, so we need tree 1 at the top. We want the things that are closest to the, say, the camera, higher up the layer stack. So what are you? You're technically closer, so you're going to go there. I love this song. If anyone does want to listen to this very lovely song I'm listening to. I think this is fan-made Elden Ring music. Very nice. I said support, Andrea, not laugh at me. You're meant to be supportive here. Right. Rocks. We don't want that there, do we? Because that's going to get rid of the rocks. Although, it doesn't look terrible. You see, just by adjusting the position of the rocks. Could even have some of the rocks covered up. Actually, yeah, this looks a bit... I don't like this. Okay. Let's... and this granite stuff is just not great. So... Where are you? Is it no? This one here. Right, let's go and add a layer mask to the whole rocks folder. And we're just going to grab the lasso tool. Just do like a real rough cut like this. I think if I do this, I can blend the rocks a little bit better. And the super grey desaturated granite does look a bit weird and out of place. If anyone's got any questions, by the way, as we go through this on certain techniques, tools, whatever, just honestly give me a shout. And I will try and be helpful. Let's see if we can get this back in. Oh, actually, this is like a grass. Oh, yeah, hang on. I'll show you something really cool. I wouldn't normally jump to this, but it's a really good technique. So let's brush a bit more back in. Right. How am I going to do this? I've got some grass brushes somewhere. These ones. If you like this stuff, by the way, I have a Photoshop course. So I've got 2 actually. Beginner and advanced. And I haven't even put them at the top of the chat. Oh no, that's not very good, is it, Dan? Hang on, I will retrieve them. Just so I don't have to keep mentioning it. Yes. There we go. Oh, I've missed this. I've missed you lot. This is fun. Yeah, so if you are looking at this sort of stuff and you're thinking, I wish I'd create that, it's not as hard as you think, but you just got to learn the right tools and techniques. I did it wrong for years, and you don't have to suffer like I did. So in the beginner Photoshop course, it's like an introduction. In the masterclass, we do 4 projects like this. Right, so I've got a grass brush. It looks like this if I stamp it in. It's got a bit of transparency, so you might want to do a few clicks to give it a bit more density. We definitely don't want transparency in here. And if I brush this into the layer mask right now, watch this. I've got to obviously match the size to the surrounding grass, but so we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Look at that. It's flipping cheeky is what it is. So we go over here. We've got all this horrible grey nonsense. We're just stampy. We could do a few bigger ones as well. And then we'll go and do some smaller ones. So we're just matching the surrounding area. Like so. I mean, to be honest, it's so... A lot of this blends pretty naturally anyway. And what is that? Obviously, you could, as you can see, you can do this very lazily. We could actually do this and then just click a few times there. I mean, you can see it makes it so easy to blend grass. It's utterly ridiculous. Let's do some big ones. Have I got any other grass? What about you? You look like a bush. Let's see if you're any good. Yeah, maybe we could do some kind of shooting up. I'm just clicking a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just because any brushes that have like grass and not grass. What are you saying, Dan? Goodness me, 10 days away and you can't speak. Any brushes that have transparency in, you definitely don't want transparency when you're compositing. And we'll do a little bit there. There we go. Done. That's... I don't know why I didn't plan to do that originally, actually. It just made my life a lot easier. Hey, Joyce from Nigeria. Right. Okay. So that's taken work of the blend. We can obviously go back and do that a bit more later, but now let's get on to shadows. So, well, let's start with these rocks anyway. So we've got the Griffin rocks. We're going to add a new... You can do levels, curves, and exposure. I'm going to do exposure. I do like this one because it's very simple, and for a lot of people when you're getting started, even if you've been doing this for a long time, you just have these two main sliders here, exposure and gamma correction. They will do a huge chunk of the work. So you can use levels and curves, but unless you really need to, stick with this because it's just two sliders. You can't really go wrong. We want to go as dark as the darkest part of the shadow we're going to add. So let's just go really dark for now. Gotta change that grass brush because that's no good. When it comes to shading, this is the brush you want here. Soft brown, pressure, opacity, and flow. Then you can brush in like so. So we're going to invert the mask. Use white, and then we can brush in our shadows. But we don't want to do it like this. We want to drop that flow down super low. If you start just trying to brush in like this and blanket brush shadows, it will look terrible. Hey, Kyle. Congrats on the engagement. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Nobody saw it coming. I blindsided everybody. I thought Poppy was onto me at one point. I thought she was onto me because I was being a bit suspicious, scouting out places to propose. And there was one point in the evening where we were trying to find somewhere to go for food, but the lights, we went to like a light display and they didn't come on, and we were like, oh, if we go now, they're probably going to turn on as soon as we leave. So we were just sat there like, oh, should we leave or should we wait or should we get food? And then she said something really weird. She said, oh yeah, it's just trying to find the right moment, isn't it? And I was like, what? What did you just say? Such a weird thing. She meant find the right moment to go and get food versus staying to see if the lights come on. But my brain was like, I've been busted. I've been rumbled. But no, she didn't have a clue. Right, anyway. Let's brush in these shadows. So remember, the light is coming from the right. So we've got to just very, very carefully brush in some shadows. And you don't want to rush this, as I've said 50 billion times before. It's like when you see an artist doing an amazing drawing or painting or something, and they just gradually build it up. So we're just looking at existing shadows. Some of these do line up with that kind of right to left light direction. And we're just kind of beefing those up and enhancing the ones already there, but then adding a few more in that aren't there. Yeah, we don't want to go in too heavy with some of these. So we're just thinking logically about where the light is actually touching. Now, we do have shadows cast by the wolf. We're not worrying about that now. In fact, let's get rid of him. You see, we're just going through and leaving the highlights on the right side. Right here as well. You're going to get like some fall off. Lighter around here, and then it's just going to gradually get darker towards that left side. And it'll be dark around this bit because it's kind of hidden by a lot of the rock. There is actually a lesson in the masterclass. If you're in the Photoshop masterclass, I think it's module 7 or 8, where we create a bunch of flat shapes in Photoshop, and then you have to practice lighting and shading, those sorts of techniques. If you're in the course, check it out, because although it's not photo related, it's a really good exercise because we use those same techniques here. So what I mean by that is, if you have I'll show you what I mean. A circle. What we're doing effectively on all these rocks is we're doing this. And it's a really good exercise to practice shading. And so we shade a circle, turn it into a sphere, and then a few other weird shapes. I think we do a torus and like a donut shape and a few others. And that technique, you'll see what I'm doing here is just effectively doing that on all of these flat surfaces. So we're just brushing on the underside. And you can see by adding shadow under here and leaving the top lit up, it creates that depth and makes it look like it's a bit more 3D rather than flat. And hopefully across an entire design, this should look pretty impressive when you turn the layer on and off. So again, here we're just going to brush down that bottom part, a bit darker. Leave the top lit up. Yeah, same down here. So let's see if we can see what we've done so far. Turn it off and on. You can see it's subtle, but it does make a difference. Once we've done it across the whole thing, though, that is the real test where you'll see it. Hey, Rob, thank you so much. Good job, young man. I like you. You called me young. Unlike some people I know. Not naming any specific 25-year-olds. We'll do that. All right. Yeah, this top bit here looks pretty flat, so we're going to go around the edge as well. And again, that could just help make everything feel a bit less flat, a bit more rounded. But we'll come back to that in a bit because wolf thing, whatever it is casting lots of shadows on there. Hey, good to see you, Chris. How you doing? Wouldn't it be easier if the light comes from the left side? Yeah, possibly, actually. That's a really good point. How did I miss the giant mountains in the back? But we could flip that round. Hang on. We can fix this. Oh, god damn you flipping lemon. There we go. It's fine. It's all fine. There's nothing to see here. Da, da, da. I need one of those technical difficulties standing by things. Where are they? Is it? Yeah, these ones. I would say, how on earth did I miss that? But, you know, been designing for so long. I still miss things that are right in front of me. Clearly. Right, what do I want here? So I want to... Let's add a layer mask. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. And we don't want that. So we're going to select the mountain. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We should be good. Crisis averted. Thank you, panicking Wyaska. Yeah, isn't. Yeah, it still looks fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good spot. Noticed everything else in the scene, missed the giant mountain. Right. Anyway, back to these rocks. Yeah, so we'll leave that as it is for now. What else we got? These ones in the foreground. I think these, I'll probably darken them even more because then it puts more emphasis on the thing. I think we'll call it the griffin. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. We'll go super dark on this for now. We'll just do a real lazy first pass. Just figuring out where the light's coming from. Something like that. And then over here as well. Do the same thing. So you see some of these were reinforcing the existing shadows, other ones were just completely obliterating them. And we're just brushing over them. Yeah, like you. Do that. This is going to be quite dark as well. Down here. This bit here is way too bright. Yeah. Yeah, this looks pretty good. A little bit down here. See the difference? Massive difference. This one over here is a bit terrible, but that's fine. Not the end of the world. I'm not sure if I even like this one, to be honest. So we'll go and do a little bit, but I'm not going to spend too long on this because I have a funny gut instinct feeling that I am going to change that at some point. So just try and get a few little highlights in there. And again, I'm still brushing around with that low flow value. It's just way better. And it's just a great way to just add like a bit more contouring to the rocks. I can't make it too dark because I got to remember at the end of the day we are outside. So sometimes when you've got a project, you'll have like a very specific light source. And if you've got a very specific light source, it's going to create very specific light and dark areas, whereas this is outside, so there's light everywhere. So it wouldn't really make sense that this entire section is fully dark unless there was something else in the scene. What's this bit? And darken you a little bit as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, right, we'll leave that for now. This bit feels like it needs something, a little bit of a gap here. It might need another rock or something. Oh, good. I'm glad it's helpful, Rob. Yeah, this one actually I definitely recommend watching the first stream if you've not seen it. Because this one I went in with the idea of I think combining a wolf and a raven. But I didn't really know how this was going to come together, so I was quite pleased by the end of the last stream, which was 2 hours, where the actual concept had formed enough where it was like, this is a good idea, we should pursue this. So I don't know how this is going to take shape as it goes, but that is part of the fun as well, I think, just doing it, and then you kind of get to see a bit more realistically how I sort of think. And hopefully, maybe that's helpful, I don't know. Right. So we're gonna do this beauty again. Let's get that flow back up. And we're just gonna go ba. Oh, it feels dirty. It feels dirty. It's just too easy. It's one of those it's one of those like magician's secrets. You're like, oh, how do you do that? Get it to blend so well. You just use a brush. No skill involved. Love it. This one here, I'm going to leave that alone actually because it looks like it's got some sort of roots or something protruding from the side, and that isn't just grass there, so it wouldn't make sense. It's a bit more bushes and things, so we'll leave that one alone. What on earth is that? Oh, it's another mountain. Okay, let's get in there. We've got to do some mountain surgery. If you're doing shading, hardness of 0. If you're doing like cutting out of things, 80 to 90 normally. So you have a much harder edge. You definitely don't want to be using a soft brush to cut things out. I did this wrong for a very long time. I still see a lot of people do it now, and it's a massive no-no. In fact, I'll show you why. Because if you cut this out, with a soft brush, look, you introduce transparency and feathering, and things don't look like that in the real world. So, whereas if we cut this out like this, you could see I could almost effectively sculpt the side of the mountain. Right, what are we doing? Yeah, so let's what is this bit here? Wonder if I right. Yeah, this brown bit isn't really ideal. But I can change the color of it, actually. I just remembered I'm using Photoshop. I can do this. So we're just going to go and grab hue saturation. We'll do colorize. We'll try and match it to some sort of bluey tone. Desaturate it, but not all the way. And then if we hide that, again, remember we're shading, so we're going to crank that hardness down. And we should be able to just blend this in. Again, it's probably going to be covered in fog and some other nonsense that I fill in, but at least for now, let's just blend it in. Just a little bit more towards the green side. There you go. Yeah, that'll do for now. Yeah, so let's just go and clean this up. We're going to use very shaky hand and a small brush. So if you have a very unsteady hand, this is an advantage here because you don't want your mountain to be perfectly smooth because that's just weird. You want lots of little... Maybe your snow will be a bit smoother, but... Oops. But yeah, rocky mountains and things, nice bumpy, unsteady hand is what you want. Yeah, perfect. Trees. Right. This bit here. Yeah, that is from the original photo. So that is how it looks. Obviously, there's like a change in the gamma between the foreground and the background. I could try and add another curves layer to it. Just try and maybe bring it a little bit more in line. I still want it to act as like a intermediary between the green and the snow. So I'm not gonna, yeah, maybe the top parts up there, I'll leave them a bit, I'll leave these alone. A bit more lighter and like a bit more snowier. And down here, we're just gonna run this over. Yes. That is good. So look at that. Yes, that's a bit better. Oh no, I'm getting ads. Me also doing photo manipulation in my YouTube channel. Can you check? No. I'm a little bit busy at the minute. Curves. I think I need that on another layer as well. What did I do? Okay, slight pull down. Yeah, there we go. And then maybe some of this. We'll just lighten this up a bit. So just trying to blend all of the different steps. There's a few different images that make up this transition back to the snowy mountain. I don't think. What do you think? I don't know if there's much else to do on that. Obviously, any sort of personal bits and pieces, like I want to add another rock here, and I'm still not 100% on this. But in terms of actual shadow retouching, the mountain pretty much done itself, which is nice. And I think it's going to be a lot of fog back there anyway, so mm. Yeah, all over the planet, lives like these are rare. Excellent. I'm happy to be rare. Yeah, no. I mean, when it comes to the art stuff, like the AI art does not interest me at all. Like for me, like the art and I create a lot of this stuff, obviously for education, but I do it for me as well. And the process is the fun. So if you shortcut the process, it takes out the fun. So if I generate this amazing masterpiece with AI, I just some people might enjoy that and being able to do that, but for me, I get nothing from it. Doesn't do anything for me. I'm like a unicorn, Andrea. Oh God, I wonder if Paul's here. That'll be in the Discord later. Okay, right. Characters. Ah, she's the wrong way around. So we'll flip her because it just makes the lighting make a bit more sense. Yeah, when you compose your scene, you can have certain images flipped a certain way, and you can, in terms of light and shadows, you can stack the deck heavily in your favor or heavily against you. And so even just that flip there, same with the mountain. We could have kept the mountain the way it was, but why fight the shadows and the lighting that's already there? Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely very useful. Like I can't deny that it's useful. I probably use it in I use GPT more, so I use it less in a creative way and more in a information way, like a soundboard. I have so many ideas and things, and I just sort of throw it into GPT and say pros and cons, go, possible solutions. That's where I found that I get a lot of value from it being a pretty much a one man team. Is that I could just kind of throw my ideas in there and get back, input from a supercomputer. You got to take it with a grain of salt, though. Like it, there's a few times where I've put something in and said, "Well, this is total nonsense." Like that doesn't make any sense, and it goes, "Oh yes, yes, you're absolutely right. It doesn't make any sense." So it does have a tendency to just kind of kiss your ass a bit and just agree with you sometimes. So I don't trust it, but I can't deny that it's been useful. Right, color balance on the Griffin. Right, we'll do shadows on this fella. I don't know what's going to happen with his tail. Maybe he'll have this tail. I'm not sure. And maybe the oh no, I've got to change the wing before I do the shadow. All right, let's tackle the wing. Sound like a sulky child. Right. So we got the wing now. I'm gonna go and we're gonna warp it. Ah, that doesn't really help. It's a put a warp mesh on the whole thing, which isn't ideal. So if we go into the smart object, yeah, what we can do is we can crop this. And then it should, if I put it back in place, I should be able to warp. Yes, just that. That's what I want. Right, so what do we want to do here, Dan? What are we doing? Are we stretching those feathers out and yeah, so this is where we can really sculpt exactly how we want these wings to look. So we could pull it down here or push it up there. What is a good looking wing? That is a... Oh, maybe a bit of curvature. I don't really know, actually. I'm just... Maybe just pulling it in a bit tighter at the bottom. Don't want to go too high and wild with it. Oh god, no, you totally, completely butchered that, Dan. What the flipping heck were you thinking? Right, let's try that again. Andrea, be quiet. Let's just do this a bit more slowly this time. I'll pull you in. Here we go. A little bit more carefully. And someone said the wings need to be bigger. I feel like they're right. But I don't want them to be too big, where they just completely dwarf the creature. I can hear you laughing through the computer. Oh, I don't know. I think they're too big there. Maybe let's just leave the wings alone. Let's go and add a shadows layer and we'll just get started. Because otherwise I could deliberate this forever. So we're going to go super dark. Invert it. Soft brush. Right, light's coming from the right. So we're just going to brush in a bit of this here. Brush in the shadows here. So we're just leaving a lot of the highlights down that right side. Legs, again, we're just going to reinforce shadows on the left. Under here is going to be pretty dark as well. We might get a bit of light catching the fur along the bottom. And what have we got here? It's a leg, Dan. Down the back of the leg. So you see there, I'm fighting against the existing lighting. I'm just going to get rid of it. Along the bottom. Down here as well. Coming up a little bit higher here. Yeah, and we can go in and add some more highlights if I need to. Tail, go around there, a little bit there. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Just really, you can see I'm just doing this super gradually. So before and after. We'll do some highlights as well. Maybe let's just get a few more of those feathers back in there. Don't want to just ruin all the detailing. Obviously this bit here looks totally awful. So we've got the wing. Oh yes, I remember what I did. I blended a wing. I'm looking at it now like, why did I do that? Let's try and not do that because we've got some nice snow on the back as well, which is really good. So let's try and blend this in. We can always add more snow at another point. So we're just sort of trying to brush in some details here to sort of blend some of the feathers with the back. I don't know. I think that looks okay for now. Then we can go back to the shadows and carry on with that. So obviously these wings are going to be casting a degree of shadows here along the back. The wings as well. Ooh, it's tricky there. I'm going to catch some of the light, but let's try just doing this. We'll darken some of these. Just do like a quick flick of the wrist and run down each wing, getting darker down here. Actually, that might be a bit, I don't know about that. Yeah, we'll dial that back a little bit. So before and after. And then we could go and add some highlights as well. So we'll do the same thing, but we're just going to push this the other way. Yeah, there we go. We can just exaggerate some of these highlights. You see there? There we go. God, I've not listened to Sonata Arctica in ages. And we'll do a little bit of a highlight here on the leg. This sort of part, is it called like the hind part of the leg? I'm not sure. Sort of big round leg muscle. We'll do a bit on there. And we'll just do a little brush pass through here. So you can see the difference when you turn the adjustment layers off and on. So before here, just completely flat, and then whoosh, you see it. Makes it feel a little bit more cinematic, just adjusting the position of the highlights to have more pronounced shadows and the position of the lighting to have more pronounced shadows and highlights rather than just being flat. Crow wolf, I like it. Yes, I like it. It could have many names, this creature. So that's typically how I do this. I'll start with obviously you've seen the process hopefully up to this point, but then just go between different pieces and work on them individually. So we've just done a sort of first pass here on Monsieur Griffinface. We'll do one here on Red-Headed Mage. Although I don't think she's going to need a lot of work because the lighting, we flipped her, so the lighting's pretty good. We are going to get rid of this weird thing. You get this edging here. It's like some people call it a halo, fringing, whatever. It's like this weird pixel line. You can see it down the left side here. Totally ruins really, really good ideas. So we're going to make a selection of the layer with Command or Control click. And hopefully we can then go contract. And this is going to pull the selection inwards. We'll go, it depends on the size of your image. I think if I do a pixel, she's going to lose some fingers. So I'm going to go half a pixel. Oh, that might still be too much. And then... Okay, right. So we've done that and added layer mask. You can see it's completely gone. She's going to have finger amputation surgery now. Or not. No, what's the reverse of amputation? Where we put it back. We're like, sorry, we amputated a bit too hard. Let's reverse it. We'll rebuild your hand. There we go. Add your pixel fingers back in. But now we've got rid of that horrible white edge thing. Yeah. That's something you want to do, actually. Check that on all your images. There was a little bit of on the wolf here. But because he's got fur, and I might end up going around that and brushing it, I'm leaving it in. But yeah, definitely when you select subject and you quickly cut out stuff in Photoshop, you want to just make sure you don't have that horrible edging around it. Right. Hair. Hair. Have I got any hair brushes? I should have. Unless I've... Wait, what? Those aren't my hair brushes. I should have some because we do... There's a whole massive lesson on hair in the course. Where are my own hair brushes? Oh my goodness, where have they gone? Oh, I've got so many. So many brushes. We'll come back to all of these because these will play a big role in bringing it to life. God, flipping heck. Right, let me just have a little look for my hairbrush. Yeah, there's a bunch. Dansky hairbrushes. Well, that sounds promising. Hairbrush set. Ooh, that sounds promising as well. All right, we'll grab both of these. Let's open these and we'll see if they're actually any good. It would just be nice to have some kind of stray hairs sort of, you know, flaying around everywhere. Well, there's one. Yeah, there we go. Let's try this one. Actually, no, let's go with this one. I think this would be good for more dense hair. Let's see. Yeah. So we could brush in like a block of hair. Just got to figure out where I'm going to have this. Maybe resting on top. And let's switch to hair small. So we're just sampling different colors. And brushing in some hairs. And then we'll go out here. God, this is so hard doing it at like a tiny pixel microscopic level. I'm so used to doing it in like much higher res. Okay. Yeah, that is brushing. Right, let's grab. There we go. Some of the brushes come with like preset settings and things that you can access in the brush settings panel. Yeah, this one's a bit more what I want. You can just actually just brush in some individual hairs. Yeah, a few trailing off. We've got one off there. Going to make them a bit more pronounced, just so you can actually see them at this sort of size. So when you zoom out, you should be able to see them a little bit better. Could even do like a braid or something like. Let's not get too wild with it just yet, but just gotta blend that. Yeah, it's like this weird little halfway point. All right, I think we won't go too crazy with the pixel hair because it's so tiny, but that looks all right when you zoom out. Yeah, we could add a few more stray hairs, but you honestly just you're not gonna see them. It's it's just so tiny. Right, let's get some shadows in. So underneath, we're going to add an exposure layer. Go super dark and then flip it around. We're going to go back to that default delicious brush. %, flow. And if the light's coming from the right, then she will be casting some kind of shadow in this direction. So we're just going to start working this in. And this doesn't have to be surgically precise. A little bit under the dress there because the dress is off the floor. We've got a foot in there. Maybe we'll just... You see it makes such a difference, these sorts of shadows. I think you call these contact shadows. So they're where something, the subject or something on a surface makes contact with that surface. And if you went in a bit hard with the values, you can do this to make it like more pronounced and more visible, but you can always adjust it. And you can see it it really does cement her in the scene. I think she's too dark though. So I'm actually gonna adjust the curves a little bit. Yeah, she's just a pinch too dark. That's why I always keep the exposure checker on in the document. Right, now we got this bad boy. So we're gonna add our shadows. Actually, no, where we're gonna add them? We need to add them to the rock and the landscape, so I think we'll do those separately. So first, we're gonna take. Where am I? Midground? No. Which ones are the flipping rocks down? Griffin rocks. There we go. It's hiding. Yeah, so we'll add the exposure adjustment layer to this. Clip it. Go nice and dark. And we'll hide it. And then we're going to just... Cool, yikes, this is bright. Just going to brush it. This is going to be very dark, actually, because this creature is going to be casting a pretty big shadow. So all around here. So we're doing some pretty dark shadows right around the bottom of the feet as well. Might even have to go darker. So you want to go as dark as the darkest part of the shadow. Did I cut his feet off? No, that is his foot. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna do pretty dark under here. And it'll be dark down here. So it's not bad as a first pass, but then you see you get a bit of a mismatch. When you make this darker, this looks too light. So we now got to go back to our wolf shadows layer. That. Let's name these because it can get very confusing with a lot of adjustment layers. We're going to go and darken these. You see what I'm doing there? Just makes a big difference in blending those together. Same here. Otherwise, it just looks weird and fake. We're going to need to cut around the rocks, I think, because they look a bit weird and fluffy. And we definitely don't want fluffy rocks. So let's just do this. Yeah, just kind of cut into some of that weird little fringing around the edge. Oh, yuck. What is that? Yeah, you can see we got it over here as well. Let's cut into this, and we'll cut it down here. Let's go back over here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. What do we reckon? Anything standing out as that looks weird, you should fix that, Dan? I think actually I can show you the before and after of what we've actually done. Because it might not look like much, but when you kind of do the before and after, look at the difference. Obviously, we didn't talk about the mountain flipping. Before, after. It's one of the most significant parts of the process when, at least when I'm working on a project and my work goes from, oh yeah, this is a cool idea to, oh shit, that looks good. It's just getting those shadows in because when you compose everything and then balance your exposure and you balance your color, you're sort of like stacking the deck. You know, you're setting the deck up or you're setting the board up. Let's do a chess analogy. You're setting the board up and you're ready to go. Boom, that's the starting point. But then when you actually start doing your shadows, that's when you start making your moves. That was good. I like that. I like that. Chess analogy. We'll keep that. What do you reckon, Andrea? Do you like my chess analogy? Yeah, that's so cool. That's not cool. That looks awful. I don't know what's going on here. Come on, Dan. Sloppy. Oh, cheers, Rob. It's one of those things. I think it's good to look at the before and after. One, because it's really cool to sort of see the difference that you've made going through that, but also it illustrates the point I'm trying to make that, you know, as you're going through and you're just brushing in these tiny little shadows on these rocks and you're brushing in the shadow of every single buttercup or whatever, you think, oh, does this make a difference? But then when you actually do the whole thing and you compare it, it's like, yeah, it really does make a very noticeable difference. Right, we've got to fix this mountain down. I think it's honestly my favorite part of the whole process. Maybe second to putting in brush effects and things and making it cinematic. Is because it's so transformative. Like you could probably just leave this like that and go, there we go, that's the finished thing. And it would still be like, yeah, okay, that's all right, it's good. Obviously we're not going to do that. I've got a lot more to do, but right. Mountain. What on earth have I done? We're gonna bring. Oh, look at that, so lazy. So flipping lazy. Honestly, Dan, you've been to Korea for a week and you just flipping come back, Mr. Cutting Corners. I mean, that's not too bad, is it? Oh, come on, that's all right. It's really fun doing this sort of stuff because I go back like 4, 5, 6 years, and a lot of what I'm doing now I really did struggle with, and it's so nice to be able to just kind of, in a way, like some projects are harder than others, but when it's like something that you're pretty confident with, you can sort of almost just dance around it and enjoy it. Like, oh, okay, I need to do this. We use that tool, and then we'll do this, and it's really nice to. I remember what it felt like to struggle and to be like, ugh, I need to blend these images. It looks rubbish. Why can't it get it to work? I remember that feeling, and it sucks. So it's nice to be able to kind of move past that, and then like obviously some of you we talk over DM and you send me your work, and when you've been doing it a long time as well, you could look at someone else's work and go, ah, yeah, your lighting's off here, your exposure's not balanced there. My boss says work smart, not hard, so it's all good. Absolutely. Yes, 100%. Cheese analogy. Oh, I don't even know how we'd do that. Goodness me. I don't think I'm quite ready for a cheese analogy, Andrea. Right. This thing here. What am I going to do with this? Do I need to fluffify him? And that probably is a word. You can look it up. Let's grab this little piece here and move that down. Neck feathers. All right, we're going to try and contort this a little bit. How am I going to do this? I've got no idea how big this file is. I feel like Photoshop hates me right now. Stop making smart objects. Yeah, see if we can line this up. Oh, this warp feature is just insane. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Maybe we just connect it up here a bit. We'll just warp again. Flipping great feature. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's just kind of having them sort of curve out a little bit. We could call that leg feathers. And then we're going to go back to a nice soft brush, or you could use a hairbrush. Either or. And we're going to connect this. Obviously, the hairs are running in different directions. We've got some lighter hair here. So let's see if we can try and blend these seamlessly. Get a lot smaller. So if you have gone through the the almighty hair lesson in the Photoshop masterclass, then these techniques are the same things you can use. There's actually a lot of stuff in the photography module at the beginning. That's the first one. that is very relevant for photo manipulation and then vice versa. I do find myself using the same tools and techniques for quite a lot of projects, at least for the sort of fundamentals. Does that look good? I think it looks good. I don't really sound sure. Let's maybe shrink it down. Yeah, I got to figure out what leg it's on. It's coming down his right leg. And then just blend in everything nice and smoothly. Hmm. Got part of the wolf there I might have to get rid of as well. Hey, Kerry. What's up? Oh, yeah, maybe we get rid of the wolf. Sort of fluffy chest area. I think that's a bit better. How's it going, man? How's the Star Wars poster coming on? Slight bit of um color adjustment needed there because it's a bit yellowy and the leg's a bit more red. I have a feeling Poppy's going to be home soon, and so I do apologize in advance if all manner of chaos kicks off. Ooh, uh, yeah, desaturate a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. It sort of blends the raven's head neck area with the leg a bit more. I think I need to darken it though, get rid of some of those highlights. So let's try and bring some of them. Ah, yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, just a bit too bright before. Some of this as well. Look, yep, just going to blend that in there. So it really does seamlessly connect to the little furry leg. That's probably going to be the most pronounced furry bit. I think. Yeah, got to fill in some of this. Maybe I need to fill in a bit under there as well. Just looks a bit weird, nothing being there. I can come back and brush in some feathers or hair strand feathers things. I don't know. We'll figure out a technique for that. Yeah, it's not too dissimilar, really. A lot of hair is about layering in different, like you have like a, yeah, you can see it here. The hair technique works pretty well. It's about layering in, like you've got like a base color, and then you have some darker strands, some lighter strands, some highlight strands. And by the time you've kind of done all that and mixed them in, you can create something that looks very, very realistic pretty easily. There we go. Just a bit of, a little bit of filler. Hey, Zakir. A tan? No, I don't think with my incredibly white, fair skin and ginger hair, I'm not known for my tan, Kerry. I think there was this one time many years ago where I think I had a tan, but it could have just been a dream. I don't know. Oh, what's next? We could do more work on the griffin, but that's probably not as interesting as adding some fog in. Fog could be quite tasty. Thank you, mate. What are you talking about? I've got a stunning complexion, Kerry. Oh, I've just realised I haven't even put shadows on the ground yet. What a turnip. Let's just do that quickly. I'm not entirely sure where to put them though. Probably here above this layer. Just so it affects everything underneath. Nice soft brush. Very, very low flow for this one. Yeah, just brushing in some shadows. Using this to sort of create that kind of roll, reinforce the sort of rolling hills look a bit. Yeah, it's not a lot. It's subtle, but it just creates a little bit more lumpy bumpiness in the landscape. This bit looks a bit weird. I got an idea. Let's try the quick and dirty approach. We'll see if we can just gen fill those out. It's pretty. This is probably the way I use this feature the most. I don't really generate things into my scene from the AI features, but it's very good at removing something and filling the scene. We'll see. It's a couple of different versions. I think there's a newer version. We'll see if it works. Yeah, that's all I want. Just something like that. More of the grass, less yellow flower. It looks a bit weird there. You can see it blends a bit more. Yeah, landscape's coming together. Right, let's get some fog in. So this is where the layers become pretty important. And the trees as well. Right, so we're going to add solid color layer. I can't believe you saw me in Thailand. Can a ginger get a tan? Well, the legends say it is possible. We're gonna pick a light color for the fog. Grab a brush. We'll go 2%. And what we could do is we could just... Oh, hang on. I'll crank it up a bit so you can see. We quite literally can brush in like fog, density, atmosphere. And we want to have more as we get further away. So as you get further into the distance, it gets harder to see. So there's so many ways we could do this. Mid-ground. I'm going to try and do it on one layer. You can clip it to different layers. I'm going to try and do a soft first pass. So we'll do a little bit. And we don't have to do it consistently as well. We can just brush weird wavy lines in and just try and add in waves of fog. And then maybe a little bit more around here. Obviously doing this can change your exposure a little bit. So when you add the things back in, they might be slightly off. Should we just move it to the top? Yeah, that's not too bad. And then I'll just remove a bit of the atmosphere over the griffin. We'll keep a bit so he's like lighter, but we don't want the whole thing. And what about don't yeah, we'll just do a little bit down there. It depends on the piece you're working on. Like I've done this before where I had on my Oblivion one with like a burning castle in the background. You had a castle close, then there was one further away, and then there was more in the distance. And you had to add layers of fog in between the castles. And so each layer of fog got more dense as you got further away. It's quite tricky. Yeah, it does as well to some extent, gives it like a slightly natural quality because you're just adding a little bit of atmosphere. You don't want to go too hard with this though. You could easily go overboard. So if you do and you get it in the right place, just dial the opacity back. You know, keep it real subtle. Yeah, see, I might even drop it to 50%. Don't know. Because you can go, where is it? Mid-ground? Yeah. So we could do like another pass and then go in a bit more aggressively for the distant land. Like this. Bit more mysterious. Actually, yeah, no, I really like that. That's quite cool. And then I need to duplicate this. Exactly what I've just done, because obviously the trees don't make sense at the minute. I've got to duplicate it directly above by dragging with Alter Option. And then clip it just to the trees. So then the trees get caught in that fog as well. And then for that, I might just drop it down a pinch so you can see it. So we've got one here. This is for like the ground and the mountains. And then the tree is caught in there as well. And then we've got the one on top. And the one on top kind of includes everything then. Because obviously if you turn this one off, you've got fog everywhere, but all this stuff in the foreground isn't really affected. So it doesn't really like synergize very well. On my poster, I use blend if on the shadows and the highlights. Worked a treat. you need to send me the file, man. Send me. Is it finished? Is it final, or is it final almost final.psd2 final? Where are we at? Right, we'll call this fog light. Okay, fog dense. It's definitely worth naming all your layers like this. Right, what else do I want to add to this? It's not even remotely close to being finished. But I'm just not sure what to add next. Actually, there is something we could do that might work. If we copy the whole thing, we'll paste it here. We'll try this. This should look a bit insane. We'll do that. And then we get some water. And we could even try and sort of map out an area to have some water as if she's kind of approaching a body of water. The reason I really like doing this as well with water is, and I did this in my wolf artwork that I did years ago, that's kind of similar in layout to this, is because if you've got any lights or really cool things in the scene, you reflect them in the water and it just instantly looks flippin' ace. It's so cool. Yeah, so we could make some sort of weird quirky shape there. We'd obviously have to go around that properly, but it reflects whatever is above it. So if I did want to add, I was thinking of adding some magic in her hand. So let's go and create some sort of spell. So maybe something like that. And then we'll duplicate the layer. We'll go lighter. Scale it down towards the center. Duplicate. Crank it up almost white. Scale it down. So we got like a little energy ball of sorts. Then we could put that in her hand almost. Change the blend mode so it kind of is a bit brighter. Linear dodge is great for this sort of stuff. And yeah, could even do another one. Like a really outer layer with a different blending mode. There you go. And it just like makes it glow even more. I'm not entirely sure what that is. She's holding. I have to invent some lore or something. But then we could go and add some really cool. Oh, actually no. Let's make it float. Let's make it levitate. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, way too bright though. I've overdone it there. Yeah, let's go 25 on that one. You don't really want to use too much transparency on lights because if you look here, it goes very like dull and weird and blends into the stuff behind it. 90%, it don't go any lower than that with lights. But I'm going to leave that nice and high. And then when we get to her, we're just going to add some highlights. Lots of different ways we can do this. I'm going to go and add a solid color. All right. What am I doing? Oh yeah, highlights, right. Okay, so we'll clip this to the mage so we can then start doing this. We'll go screen or linear dodge as a blending mode. Maybe. Overlay is quite good as well. No, we'll go linear dodge. And we'll do some soft ones first. Yeah, there we go. So lots of... Oof. Go in really slow. If you go in too fast with the blue, it can look terrible. A little bit up here as well. And then catching up here. Catching a little bit more there. And if we duplicate this, we could try a different blending mode as well. Another good one is overlay. And this is quite good if you just want to have like a blanket like you see here. Like it's very intense sort of light. A soft light is like a lesser version of overlay. So I'm going to keep the overlay one there. So it's super intense where the light is. Oops. Made it a little more natural. I got to change Darth and move the titles. Ooh, what are you doing to Darth? I think you said about the lightsaber. The lightsaber, it's got that sort of, because it was baked into the Darth image, it's got that kind of muddy look, hasn't it? So I think we talked about before adding a new lightsaber over the top. Yeah, we could use blend if we did it on this one. So it will remove it from the shadows. So you can see there, it kind of removes it from the darker areas, but keeps it in the lighter areas. Might work better on this one. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, we'll do it on there. It's subtle. Don't want it to be too like overpowering and distracting. You said about glowing lightning. I'm not going to do lightning, but I am going to do some particles. Assuming I keep this weird glowing orb that I've made. I'm just kind of made that up, but I should have a good particle one. Yeah, there we go. Which direction are they going to blow? Or maybe they just surround the ball and a few kind of spread out a bit further. Particles. And then what have we got? Orb. And then orb glow. Yeah, there we go. It's getting there. Yeah, to be fair, you could do it with any brush. What we could have done, we could have turned that into a flame. Maybe we'll do that. Instead of having it as energy, we could turn it into fire. And I know you know how to do that now. So we could turn that into a fireball. You could find a fire orb brush online. I'm very sure you could. So instead of a flame going up, you could find a ball of fire, like an orb. And then do the same thing that you did in the fire text lesson to just make that realistic, and then add the highlights orange and yellow instead of blue. I think in this piece that I'm going for more of a calming, pacifying energy spell or something, rather than let's destroy the big thing with fire. But and I like this color as well. The color, they could, to be fair, they could both work, but this sort of nice turquoisey color blends with what she's wearing. It blends with the whole greens and tones in the thing, and you know what I'm saying. It just blends really nicely. I mean, to be well, we should actually add some snow, because it would make sense. There's snow on the back of this creature, and there's mountains that are snowy in the background. I don't like going crazy with weather effects. Like, because I used to have a really bad habit of doing very shoddy retouching, and then it was like, we'll slap some rain on it. And it looks fine, but then I don't know, it felt like I was covering up lazy work, you know? So I want some, you've got to have some snow in there, but it has to make sense. So for this, you want to have snow at different distances. So we're going to do some distance snow first. So first of all, we're going to get a small brush and not do that. I'm going to brush in, got to get the right brush first. Yeah, there we go. So this is going to be distant snow. It's all the way over here in the background. We're just going to stamp that everywhere. And this is going to sit under everything. Under the trees? Yeah. So that's off in the distance. Very, very small snow. And I'm also going to drop the opacity because I don't want it too pronounced. I'm going to call it snow far. You're missing one thing. The thing you kept telling me more, Chloe. Yes, good point. Yes, we do need someone there on the grass. So now we're going to do snow medium. This is around where the bird thing is. So again, this is going to fill the entire scene. We can stamp this in pretty comfortably. You're not going to be able to see the repetition, so it's fine. And we'll do 75% on that. We'll call it snow mid. And then we'd have snow close. And this is going to be above everything. This one is an optional one, but you make it really big. This is snow that is close to the camera. This can be a little bit much sometimes. It can be realistic, but it can be just a bit too much. So maybe you want to add just a few pieces of snow. So I don't know. Yeah, I might leave that one. And snow mid. Typically, we don't want to see the snow going all the way to the ground. So some of the snow down here, we're going to either get rid of it or we're going to lessen it to drop its opacity. Keep it more to the higher areas of the image. And we'll just run through a few bits here as well. I'm just running the brush through, just taking the density down a little bit, just getting rid of a few snowflakes. So the mask looks a bit wild. We've gone from that with the original brush to just dialing it back a bit. So it's more intentional. Yeah, I'll leave that layer there, but I'm probably not going to use it because it does look a bit too much. And you can as well, if you want to, take your snow and add a motion blur and have it run in a specific direction. So if you want to have more of a blizzard, have it blowing in a certain direction and adjust the speed. Reflecting on the snow, sod off. Take every bit of snow and reflect the blue onto that. Every single flake of snow. I don't think so. I think not, Kerry Doodle. Oh, that's on the mage, isn't it? What am I doing? Sometimes you can just do this to find the right blending mode as well. Yeah, this is a good. That's a good use of this technique, Kerry. The one you mentioned. So we've got screen and then that blending mode, and we can just kind of. In fact, we can squish our brush down and make more of a very sharp elliptical shape. And do something like this. Oops, it's not even underneath it, is it? Let's just shuffle it over. I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to be too pronounced. This is looking cool. Again, just do your exposure checker just to check you've not cocked anything up. I don't think I have. Yeah, blend if's amazing, isn't it? It's so good. All right, I'm just thinking what else to. Actually, I know what this fella needs. I remember I had an idea. She's casting a spell to tame him. Yes. All right, let's lock that. I remember now. Um, my idea is coming back to me from all those weeks ago. We are going to use a flame brush, Kerry Doodle. I'm not sure which one though. Can't remember the last time I did blue fire either. So we'll see how this turns out. Yeah, it's trying to find a nice shape for the brush as well. Maybe this. So we got that. We'll stick a blending mode on there. This might be a bit easier than fire, actually. We'll change the color and make it a bit more greenish. Actually, it doesn't really do a lot, does it? Super soft brush just to add in a bit of glow. All right, let's see how this looks. That one. Yeah, there we go. Ah, I think it looks weird having the middle a bit more visible. Like seeing his pupil. Let's gloss over it a bit more. Yeah. Don't know. Not sure about that or not. I mean, another option would be to take the eye and do something different. So we could go for like a yellow. This might actually look quite cool. I did this recently on a tiger. It made a massive difference. Can't remember the exact technique I used, but it's something like this. Just makes that eye properly pop out. And then we'll do an extra bit of blending. Should. Yes. Yeah, enhance it even more. So it does make a difference, especially when you zoom out. So it's good if you do want the eye to pop. I highlight. What are you thinking, Andrea? What, something around the raven's head? Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure. I feel like with her pose and everything, she's mid stride. It feels like she's walking up to it and approaching it and getting ready to cast something rather than having already cast it. I don't know. That's the narrative or the story I've invented in my head. I still need to sort that water out. I've done a flipping lazy job there. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I wonder if I could use the grass brush, but upside down. I wonder. Oh, look! I just love that the green. Or This would make it a lot harder. We add a moat going around the rock. And she's walking across the water. That would be flipping sick. That would, that'd be a lot of work there. Let's try it. Oh no, you can't do it on smart objects. It's a shame. I wish you had the option to like edit it. You like the idea? Oh, okay. That was like an yeah, like an of approval. I thought it was like a oh, you sure, Dan? You sure you're not gone a bit funny? It's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, let's go with that. Greetings, Mr. Dansky. Zakaria, a follower from Algeria. Oh, hello. Hello from Algeria. Um, right. I mean, water does just make everything look flipping cool. Stick a few bushes in there. Where's Mage? She's still on land at the minute. It's you can see with the brush tool, it's almost like sculpting. It's really fun actually. It's like you're sculpting the scene. May Kalato from South Sudan. Hello. Oh, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I can't remember the last bit of photo manipulation I did. It's been a while. This is going to be sick. Yeah, I think it's already coming together pretty well. There will be some like extra details and stuff that will make it even better. Like, yeah, I think it looks really good now, but I know that once I stick another 5 or 6 hours into it, I'll be looking back at this version and it'll be like, it won't even be close. It'll be crazy. Yeah, I think I like the water. Like that, the sculpting of it. Obviously, I'm using a soft, fluffy brush, so it's not bad. You get away with it, but I think, yeah, maybe a bit of cleanup later on would be good. We'll probably need to add some more snow to this little nugget as well. Ah, this rock. I really don't like this rock. Something about this that looks really weird. It needs a lot more. This granite bit in particular needs more contouring. Hmm. Yeah, that's a bit better. Leaning into like the contrast a bit more, the highlights. Yeah, this area here looks a bit. I'm not sure what it is. Something looks off. Right. The blue on that wing needs to go as well. So we're gonna go hue saturation. We're gonna pick this thing here, and we're gonna hold command or control. Nope. Actually, let's just. Let's just colorize it, and we'll make it brown. Yeah, there we go. That's worked pretty well, actually. Nice. Whew. How do I upgrade Photoshop 25 to 26? You should be able to do it in the Creative Cloud app. So in this thing. So just go into here and apps, update. You should be able to see all the latest updates. Hey mate, first time here. Can I ask a question if that's okay? Yeah, for sure. Infinity Shadow 20. Yeah, you go for it. What is your question? I will try and be as helpful as I can. Raquel! She's arrived! Put mum in hospital now because now she's has half a face white, half black. Is she okay? How's she doing? Oh, I see what you mean. Oh goodness. Bruising, yeah? Yeah, I did wonder I wondered what you meant for a second. Oh, it's lucky that she's relatively okay though. Yeah, God, man, you gotta be careful. I mean, obviously, as you get older, it's even like my mum as well. Like she's, what does she do? She sat down on a tree stump when she was on holiday. Just literally sat down, and there was like a bit of a branch or something sticking out, and it went straight into her coccyx. Tailbone at the bottom, basically her back, and she's been in agony and had all sorts of problems since. And she's got to be so careful. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Just the littlest thing. Poppy fell in a hole once. We were at a farm. There was a bunch of wallabies bouncing around, and she fell in a hole and she twisted her ankle. It sounds funny saying it now. Poppy fell in the hole, but at the time it was horrendous. She proper like twisted her ankle. Okay, so I'm not using. So I'm not sure if some techniques you're using here could apply to this, but I was wondering what I should take away from this, learn and improve on to make YouTube thumbnails to the best of my ability. I mean, yeah, this is a little bit different to YouTube thumbnails. It's very, it's very different. I think the biggest takeaway I'd probably say is get familiar with a brush tool. This is something that I teach all my students about, is the brush tool. It underpins a lot of techniques I cover in my courses. Raquel, I know you love the brush tool. I don't even know if I'm joking anymore. Have you come around to the brush tool now, or do you still hate the brush tool? Because it's one of those tools that is so useful. You might have seen me shading a lot of stuff with it here and using it for probably 90% of today's stream. But if we're talking about a thumbnail, it can be very useful for brushing in color or gradients. This is obviously a terrible example, but say you've got some... Oh, I don't really have an example ready to show, but say you've got some text on your thumbnail. And I kind of need an image, really. And it's not standing out. You can... This is sorry, it's a terrible example. Actually, I know what I'll do. Hang on. Right, hang on. Forget that. Forget you saw that. No, nothing to see here. Right, say you've got a thumbnail like this. And you're like, hey, ha ha ha. And you've got the text there and whatever. The brush tool's great for thumbnails. That's why I do my thumbnails in Photoshop. Because it's like, well, that white's cool. It doesn't stand out an awful lot, though. Whereas you can get the brush tool and you can just use like a levels layer, darken the scene so it stands out, and then just brush over that one area. So you've not had to like darken the whole scene, but just where the text is, it's really useful for that. We've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but off we go, I suppose. It can be very useful for having fun with color. So you could do this. We'll brush in some red. Let's get a nice lovely orange in there. Oh, look, we've made Instagram. Just from brushing. Yeah, you can do all sorts, really. So the brush tool is probably the biggest takeaway. There's so many applications for it, whether it's design, whether it's giant wolf, bird, eagle things. I once sneezed myself to the floor with 3 weeks of back pain afterwards. Yeah, that is no joke. Sneezing is no joke, is it, Kaya? And I swear, as I've got older, my sneezing has got so much more aggressive and louder. It's like, Retro! But yeah, you can really screw your back up sometimes. I went through a phase, this is like about a year ago now, where I think I had a back injury or something. I can't remember what the hell was wrong with me, but every time I sneezed, I had this excruciating pain in my back. So every time a sneeze was brewing, it was like, oh god, here we go again. Brace for the pain. Love hate, yeah. It's like Marmite, isn't it? You know, Marmite's a love hate thing, but let's be honest, if you gave me a pot right now, I'd stick my face in it. So, oh, you got hay fever as well. Oh no. I don't know. Does anyone else know about Photopea? I've not used it personally. I know it's like a copy of Photoshop or something or similar. I don't really know. Yeah, I've been a Photoshop Adobe guy my entire life. Pretty much, not my entire life. I wasn't. I didn't like arrive out of the womb like, hey, let's look at my layers. But my whole career anyway. I've not done many highlights on Birdie, have I? No, I haven't. Oh no, I did a few. I feel like we could make them a bit more pronounced actually. We could go highlights around 2. There we go. Done. Maybe some of the wing details, lighten them up. Maybe this whole right side actually. Whoosh, just going to lighten you up. Alright, what are we doing, Danny boy? What else are we doing? See, this lazy brushing actually sort of works because it makes it look like it's underwater. So I think I might actually get away with a lot of that. Oh, that's funny. Hey, you're welcome. More attention to the little figure. I don't know. I really want this fella to be the centerpiece. I mean, I could do. I still got the shadow. Oh wait, where is my shadow? Have I lost my mage shadow? Oh, I feel like that's it there. Why is it not showing up? Ah, because they clipped it in the group. There we go. I'm being a donut. Yeah, there we go. This has actually been pretty good progress today. I didn't exactly know where this was going to end up. But it's definitely getting there. Call that. Weather effects. Fog dense. I try and put everything in groups because it makes it easy to scan folders. Mage. Mossy rocks in the foreground. Landscape shadows. We'll stick that in its own folder, even though we're probably not going to use it. We got fog. Something else I quite like as well, color lookup LUT profiles. These can be, you could call them one-hit wonders, I guess. They can be pretty insane. And you could create these with the other adjustment layers, but they're just nice presets. Yeah, you see that one makes it a bit more green and vibrant. This is what you'd use for nighttime as well. I was thinking about making it nighttime, but I don't know. That's crisp warm. Bit more wintry. Drop the blues, which is quite nice. I think this doesn't really have a lot of blue in it anyway. It's kind of cool. Yeah, these can be quite good as inspiration as well. Sometimes you can just have a look and it's like, oh wow, gives you like an idea of how it could look. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show that. Let's try something. I wonder. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to try something. I need that in exactly the same place. And then I need to go color range. We're going to sample this. Those of you that have done Module 2 in the Photoshop Masterclass will recognize this technique. Got to get the right balance selected. No, not enough. That's fine. We'll go back. It's a little bit of trial and error. And we're effectively turning the grass into snow. That's a pretty cool technique. You like that? And then what we could do actually is it depends how far we want to bring the snow. We could keep it for more over here. I don't know. I actually quite like the snow. Although we'd have to do it on the trees as well. Oh, it's the water reflection. Yes, you do. You got to finish it. I also you started your crash before saving thing. I'd love to see you finish that, Raquel. Obviously, no pressure, but secretly all the pressure. Do you teach only or work on the projects too? No, in all of my courses, every lesson gets you working on something. So if there's project files for that lesson, then you get given the project files. So I think it's better to learn by doing. So you got the video that will show you what to do and talk you through the process. You then get the project files. But the thing is with the masterclass, I would say to anyone who enrolls in it, you're learning a lot of advanced techniques. You're like, this has taken me 20 years to learn, and you're learning it at a very like accelerated speed. So as you work through the different project files and you finish one, send what you do to me, because I'm there to support anyone who enrolls in my courses, and I'll give you feedback on what's working and what's not. So it's not just the course and the project files, it's me in person going, yep, this is good, fix that, do that, tweak that. And it's just it's probably the fastest way to learn Photoshop, like if I'm just being honest, because you've got as someone who's been doing it for like years there in your corner, able to point this stuff out. So I probably should show. We'll do a quick segue plug. I don't show these courses off enough. So there's the beginner Photoshop course that does. Let's go down here a bit. Yeah, so stuff like this. You know, how to make smart selections and masking. How to take not very nice looking burgers and make them look flippin' delicious and cool, and then build a 3D set from 2D images. That's cool. This is awesome. Raquel, you smashed this. Guitar. So this is the introduction to photo manipulation. So if you've never done it before, this is like your first steps into the fundamentals of how to do it. Mocking up stuff. So loads and loads of cool stuff. I'll keep it more photo manipulation focused, and then we build on the photo manipulation here. There's a whole module on that. Doesn't really do the module justice, to be honest. It's way beyond that. This sort of stuff. So we dive into much more advanced techniques. Oh, I've not got the flipping crash before saving on here. Oh, it's this one. So we create, that's module 2. We create this whole thing from scratch. We even draw some penguins. You'll learn how to draw and paint penguins, which is a lot easier than you think. But then later on in another module, we then animate it. So we build that whole crashing Big Ben into the side of the Earth in Photoshop, and then we animate it with a little bit of After Effects as well. So, but that one's the masterclass. So first class is beginner level. If you've never tried it before, masterclass is much more advanced. It's taking it to this sort of level, really. So yeah, if you've got any questions about them, just email me, hello@dansky.com. I'm always happy to help. Sorry, I've got Graham Norton on an advert in my ear. Keep getting bloody ads for Revolut. Go away, Graham. Oh my God, he's relentless. I can like talk and teach and design listening to music at the same time. But as soon as you hear an ad where somebody's talking and you've got 2 streams of talking going on, it is impossible. I just can't do it. I don't teach Figma, no. Photoshop and Illustrator are the ones that I've got courses for. Those are the ones I use day in, day out. There's other ones that I use like InDesign, Premiere Pro, After Effects. So I'm always happy to help anyone with those questions. By the way, you can join our Discord server for free. So dansky.com, from the homepage, just scroll down a bit and you can join the community. So if you do get stuck with questions or anything, there's a bunch of us. They're always happy to help out. Oh, thanks, Raquel. I try my best. Oh, thanks, Christopher. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you go to dansky.com, scroll down, look for the community link. It's on the homepage. The thing I love teaching about Photoshop specifically, I love Illustrator as well, but Photoshop in particular is I struggle with a lot of stuff, and then being able to get to a point where I can actually create what I imagine and I'm not limited technically by what I can do. It's a pretty nice feeling, you know. Right. I need to add the trees now. So I've got to select. She's arrived. Poppy has arrived. Who's got a package?
Me, it says Poppy White.
You send it to yourself.
No, it says delivery for someone very special.
Oh, it's adorable.
Have you told everybody?
Beautiful. Oh,
told
she's
everybody.
here.
Look at
Oh,
this sparkly thing.
Lord.
Yeah, it's true. Where's the camera? Oh, there we go. Need to show them.
I'm terribly sorry, but the stream is now being hijacked by Madame Buffon. I'm now being asked to change the camera. We're going to have to take a timeout intermission.
Oh no. Where's it? Where's the camera?
Go closer. There you go. Now you're in focus. That's it. Maintain central.
It's too dark. We need to do this torch. Where's the torch? Give me a phone.
It's all right. I'll do the lighting. You're going to like lean on a cable and like disconnect the whole stream.
That's terrible.
No, you're not even in focus.
How do I get in focus?
Come back to... Oh, stop. Lift up. To that way. No. There. Hold your position. No, go to the... You've gone out of focus. There. I mean, this isn't a macro. This isn't a macro. You know, you're not going to... This isn't a macro lens. What are you expecting?
Just look on Instagram. It's beautiful and sparkly. Hi, everyone. You can't get rid of me now.
We'll see about that. Clink. Oh, funny.
Aww. Oh, look.
What?
That's so cute.
I'm sure it's adorable. Anyway, we're going to try and add some snow to these trees now. We'll see if we can do it uninterrupted, but I'm not hopeful.
It's from Kerry and Jamie.
Oh, okay. That's me. Wait, am I the one with the... I'm obviously the one with the moustache. Yeah. What does it say? The perfect pair. That's adorable.
Poppy and Dan, really congrats on getting engaged. So happy you very much to love Kerry and Jamie.
Thank you, Kerry and Jamie.
Thanks.
Funny. Oh, dear. Anyway, as I was saying, right. I seem to be on a little bit of a roll with this. Oops. No, that's right. That's right. You're all good, Dan. Don't you worry. Oh yeah, actually, I do quite like the wintry thing. It doesn't really make sense that this isn't wintry here, though. So I'm not sure. Let's... What's this area here? Grass foreground, yeah. So these two areas need some sort of treatment. So if we... Yeah, let's go select color range. We'll try and make it all green. We'll just see what happens. Ooh, that doesn't look great. Maybe I need to push. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe let's do a bit on the rocks. More glow. I don't know. One step at a time, girls. I've got no idea.
What's that?
Probably another 12 years.
No.
Anyway, Griffin Rocks. Let's. Oh, it's hard because I've got everything split over like different layers. Let's see if we can do something like this. Yeah, maybe let's do that actually. Just take some of the green pizzazziness out of it all. Just everything being less vibrant green and more like miserable winter green. This is very lazy retouching. Yeah, definitely makes a bit more sense to be less punchy. I just got to figure out how to push. Do we push this back a bit? We've got to do it in a way that's like realistic though. Or do we do that and do it so it's super gradual? Sort of blends a bit with the fog that way. And then this tree here, this is tree number 1. Why is that not? Ah, there we go. God, these layers are getting complicated. So that could be a little bit less wintry. And some of the others can be more wintry. I think doing it that way doesn't like muck up the everything else. Like I do like the green grassiness here and the water and everything. I quite like the distinction between winter and not winter. Scorpio. That is me. Yeah, it dulls it down a little bit. What's this? This is... Oh, it's not actually a lot of snow, but it's just enough that it blends it. That's quite cool. Snowy ground. Yeah, let's call it that. Let's... I mean, to be honest, I'm still going to probably do a lot more work on the creature. I want to go through and add like fog and all sorts of stuff, but it's cool because it's just it comes together in whatever order it does. Like every project you work on is different. Could do some color balance at the top. We could give it like a, this could be quite cool, a bit more blue in the shadows. And then for the highlights, we could go maybe a little bit more yellow. The midtones, we could push the green. Color balance is great. You can see there, it really does change the whole vibe a little bit. We could even have these mossy rocks in the foreground a little bit out of focus. So if we go and apply a field blur to them, we don't want to go, you could go really dramatic and put all the focus on the creature and it would look cool. But if we were just to go five pixels, it's just subtle enough where it shifts the focus. And then we've got the newly added, got clarity. This used to be buried in Camera Raw filter, but it's not anymore. They've brought it out, which is great. So clarity you've got to be careful with because you can do that and really screw things up. But just a little bit of clarity can really just enhance everything. Dehaze you can use as well, but I don't. I think there's other ways to do that, other adjustment layers, and it can mess your work up a little bit if you're not careful. I think that color balance is maybe just going a little bit too hard. And grain. I like a bit of grain. I love a bit of grain. It's quite, you can't really see a lot of it actually. And then we can wrap all of those up in a folder at the top called adjustments. And it saves having the whole camera raw filter thing. Oh yeah. Don't know if I like that color balance actually. That made it worse. Let's try and color look up. I mean, that's pretty good. That turns the whole scene wintry very, very quickly. It's quite cool, actually. Adds a bit more drama and contrast to the whole thing. That's a nice one. Yeah, so you could use that. You don't need to, though. You can do a lot of this stuff with curves and levels. So you can bring the black point up a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to go too high. You can go higher, but and sort of stylize it a little bit. Yeah, it's turned out pretty well. Looking for a font for hours. Oh no. What, trying to choose a font or find the right font for something? Yeah, I think the only thing that needs a bit more work here is probably the creature. The blending of the wings with the body, the detail on the wing itself. Give him some teeth, I don't know. Bit more snow. Yeah. Because if we... Yeah. Let's see if we could do that. Kind of need a good snow brush, and I might have one. Oh no, it's not going to be called a snow brush, is it? What? Oh, what do I use in the course? It's something like a spatter brush, I think. Something like this. Like it's a really... No, it's not that. Yeah, it might be something like this. But I think it's more placed. No, it's not this one. There's definitely one that I use that you could freely brush with it. Or maybe it's something like this, like a modified one. Might have been. Yeah, it might have been this actually. We're just adding some snow in some of these places. A little bit on his head. There you go. A little snowy head. We're sort of trying to blend it with the snow that's already there. It's the sort of thing that needs a lot more time and care. This bit here, I just want to randomize that a bit more. That brush is very predictable. So we want to just make it feel a bit more random. And we probably want some snow on here as well. There's a bit of lag actually. I think this file's getting a bit crazy. I think my computer's probably struggling because it's streaming as well as recording the screen and everything as well. So we're just going to get a few. Yeah. Oh, that blends really nicely actually. Yeah, a few more bits there. Yeah, it's alright as a first pass. A little bit rushed, but it definitely makes a difference. Alright, I think we're probably going to leave that one there for now, because that is a lot of work and flipping not bad progress actually. Considering I've been waiting weeks. No, not weeks. No, about 2 weeks to work on this. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, you can see how the snow technique works. It does look pretty good actually when you spend a bit longer on it. Let's get a little bit on his tail. I mean, this tail's going to need fluffifying as well. Just going through and making everything super fluffy. Hopefully I can blend this snow with the other snow. Like this. You see there? Suddenly the drawn snow with the real snow is becoming harder to distinguish. Yeah, it's thinking about logically where it is. So yeah, on the pause as well. It's thinking about the whole design very logically. Like if this was happening, what would the result be? So it's snowing or raining. How does that impact the scene, everything, and everyone in the scene? Oh, it's just turned out pretty good actually. I'll show you the wolf one from 6 years ago. This is sort of, I wouldn't say, oh no, not, no, that's not it. Oops, there's a, gotta find the file now. I think, I think this is it. This is one I did 6 years ago. I nearly gave up on, and I came back to it at some point in the future and actually finished it. And this is very similar. Small character, big giant creature boss thing. Is that the finished one? That can't be the finished one. No, surely not. I'm really confused now. Is that the finished one? Holy shit. That does not look as good as I remember it since doing this. Jesus. Yeah, I don't. I'm just syncing another file. I remember the wolf one being a like obviously it's older work, so it's always going to be like lesser than your latest stuff. But I don't remember it being that bad. Or maybe it's because this new one is like so much better. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Let's try this file. Damn. No, that was it. That's crazy. Wow, I've gotten a lot better in 6 years. That is it. Damn. Yeah, right. Christ. I think it, yeah, that's mad. That is really surprising. Like the, I'll show them for fun. These are the ones where I nearly gave up. I think it's because this one here is technically like my sort of ability to technically get colors and balancing and all that stuff. When I did this, there was no balance your exposure, balance your color. There was none of that. And this is going through this whole process and then doing all the other ones since is where I've sort of refined that thing that I'm always like, balance your exposure, balance your color. It sort of was born out of me doing it without that and just so much backwards and forwards, and then refining it into a system that's like, stick to these steps and that is your foundation covered off, whereas this was before that. Hey Pixel, you're right that it is a different style, but I think what I used to have a habit of doing was blanketing on color. So a lot of my older work had a very similar color tone. It would be like all red or all green in this case, because I think using those colors, I kind of like having a mood to it like that, but I think it was also to mask the fact that I wasn't balancing my color correctly. And so I used to subconsciously, or I don't know, consciously, I don't know, but put these filters over it, you know. Because I bet you, if I were to take off all the adjustment layers, and we go, yeah, if I turn off this folder here, it's not going to look great. And this is how I used to work. So this effects folder at the end did a lot of heavy lifting, and quite a few times when I would turn off the effects folder at the end of a project, it would be like, yes, oh my god, like this thing carries the whole project. And then look at this, going from that to that. Look how much of the heavy lifting the camera raw filter is doing. And in this instance, it works really well at bringing out some of that detail, especially in the dirt and the mud. But I think that's one area where I've really improved a lot, is now these adjustments at the top, they're super minimal. They're just like they're not even the icing on the cake. This was like the icing on the cake. This is just more the cherry on top, you know, because the retouching underneath has been done properly and has been done correctly, that I don't need to like chuck in color filters and all sorts of crazy adjustment layers to hide the dodginess. It's sort of been done properly. It's a bit more like a process. Yeah, I used to rely on camera raw a lot, as you can clearly see there. I think there's probably some even more egregious examples in my older work, but then over time I've relied on it less and less. And this one here doesn't even use it at all. Just a little bit of clarity boost and a bit of grain. I mean, I could use camera raw and I could boost it in that way and it would look good, but the design isn't dependent on it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's crazy. I really thought that I thought that was it was better in my mind. Maybe it's because of the, but you see the comparison. Big monster thing, little person in a puddle. We've sort of got something similar there. I think this one as well, like when I say this had no color balancing, it had actually no process whatsoever. Whereas this one was, I'm going to build the scene and compose it and then balance my exposure and my color. This one was like, just chuck it all in there. And obviously it's just a flipping horrendously messy process. But these were the first ones. I always love sharing these. So if you're new to Photoshop and you find this hard and you're thinking of giving up, don't, because you might be one project away from cracking it and moving forward. But these were the ones I started with. I had the idea of the wolf and the forest, and it just didn't happen. And oh god, it looks awful. I felt so crap and discouraged. Oh, look at it. And I was rushing these as well. This is the problem. I was rushing them. I was trying to rush to make something good rather than trusting. I need to get a t-shirt of that. Trust the process. Trust the process. Such underrated advice. As long as you know the process, and also maybe if someone's told you the process or you've learned a process or whatever, just trust the process. Because yeah, here I was trying to get a quick win, and all I did was just break my spirit. Yeah, so just quickly trying to fudge it together and then throwing on a whole bunch of adjustment layers and not liking what I made. Yeah, and then it turned into the one that you saw a minute ago. I always like that those examples in that little story because it's just I just remember it so vividly that it was like, damn, you nearly gave it. You were so close to not revisiting that project, and look what it turned into with the wolf thing. God, flipping it. It yeah, 100% Raquel. Patience, and I think as well, the more you do it, like I mean, you've probably seen it doing these live in the last what we've been streaming for like 3 years now, I think. Like you can go back and see some of the older streams. Like you'd have seen my confidence grow with these projects. Some are harder than others. Like a nighttime underwater scene is going to be like, oh god, that's hard. But doing something like this with just foliage and outdoors and daytime lighting, like your confidence definitely grows and grows the more you do it. And it's just repetition of the same techniques as well. Like you balance your exposure, balance your color, you just follow in that same process. It's always good as well doing it with 2 or 3 images because once you can do like a really solid, there's no point like doing 10, 20 images and building an entire scene before you can do 2 images or 3 images. If you can do those and do that well, you can then get better at the fundamentals really quickly. Yeah, never give up. Absolutely. Yeah, it's yeah. I think many of us have relied on camera raw, and it is good, but it should enhance what you've done, not be a crutch for like dodgy retouching or bad color correction or whatever. Exactly. Yeah, trust the process. And even your Photoshop work, Raquel, your Photoshop work's looking amazing now. Like I love the things you send me. I still, I still laugh about the spaceman with the funny mouth, but like all the other stuff, like the cat thing, the water coming through the doorway, the isometric thing that you started working on. It's just like the technical side of what you're doing is just so tight. It's really, really cool. Oh, 1,000,000%. It's not even close. Yeah, of course you got better. And it's nice as well when people send their work to me um, via a message in the Discord. You get that whole direct message thread. So you just get to scroll up and you see that progression, which is really cool. Yeah, 100%. I remember, I think before you did the Photoshop course, and correct me if I'm wrong, you weren't as familiar with Photoshop, or you were definitely more Illustrator, weren't you? And then you did your guitar, the water guitar. That was one of the earlier ones, and that was you smashed that. Then the hair, that was amazing. Kept going over and over the hair, and then obviously the before and after just was insane. I hated it. Yeah, the hair was insane. I'd love to find that example sometime and show it to everyone if you're okay with that because it was insane. Like the first example was how I used to do hair as well, where you just brush it in and it's like a big block of color and it just doesn't look like hair. And then you just go through that process of like refining it, and then by the end, it looked amazing. But you got to use the brush tool. There's no way around it. The brush tool is life. Patience in the brush tool. Ah, right. Well, that was jolly good fun. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Um, and I don't know what I'm gonna do now. What time is it? What day is it? I don't even know where I am anymore. What time did we start this? Oh, flipping heck. Over 3 hours. My goodness. Good lord. That was a long one. Oh, right. We'll get back to it next week with lots more lovely streams, and we'll maybe do a logo or something. I don't know. I'm sort of trying to get back into work mode after being away and fully switching off for 10 days. Oh, there is something I'd love to show you actually. I was doing a little bit of work while I was in Korea, but not like work. It was more for fun. The brush is fundamental. um, yeah, so we did all that work on defining like the sort of look and feel. I sort of did a bit of work on that while I was away to try and evolve it on a little bit. It ended up including a really cool, more distressed handwritten font. So rather than just, using Montserrat and being like every other designer ever in the world, or just it's just a very like I've got Montserrat in there, but the headline font is like something a bit more like me. It is a little bit more like the sort of font that I wear on a lot of t-shirts. It's a little bit more rebellious, which kind of does lean into my nature a little bit as well. But it's also handwritten. It look a bit more handwritten, so or handcrafted, whatever terminology you want to use. So it's a bit more personal, which is like how I like to teach as well. So you've still got the Montserrat and everything, but then you just have something a bit more edgy. It just stands out. It just makes it just look less vanilla as well. And it's just I don't know, I just love the font. And then leaning into the whole orange and black thing a lot more. Got some lovely work there. Oh yeah, the Macintosh as well. Flipping brilliant. Got three Michelles. But yeah, just kind of leaning harder into the red and black, and just this is what it was before. It was a very light palette, but then I think sort of after a while looking back, it's just not me. I am a sort of I wear black all the time. I'm a black and orange kind of guy. So just some social posts, trying to design things and have these sorts of scribbles and arrows and bits and pieces, and yeah, just trying to design lots of things. Yeah, this yeah. So yeah, that's what I was working on, just getting the website updated with that. And again, I think it's just a process, going through this whole process and then actually using it for a bit and going, actually, do you know what? It's not really quite there yet. It's not really fully me. Whereas like this, it's a sort of t-shirt I'd wear. Do you like it, Andrea? Korea did you well, yeah. It's got to be something distinctive, otherwise it's just forgettable and yeah, I don't know. I just as soon as I started adding it into like a couple of headlines and bits and pieces, it was like, oh yeah, this is much more me, I think. But it's hard trying to define that style because when you start designing, I mean, if you've ever designed your own website or done your own branding, it's like, oh, who the hell am I? You have to like ask that question internally, and sometimes it's a bit of an uncomfortable thing to answer. You know, like what does my brand and how I represent myself visually online or stylistically look like? I don't know. So it's definitely been like an evolutionary process. But yeah, red and black all the way, I think. Oh, you like that? It feels stuck. Yeah. It's trying to figure out as well where the line is between using that and then obviously you don't want to just use it for everything. So it's basically what is it? what's it called? Slightly marker. So it's that, and then Montserrat, and then body copy is like body copy is Inter. Yeah. So those are the three fonts: Marker, Montserrat, and Inter. But yeah, that was the extent of work while I was away. I was a good boy apart from that, and didn't do too much. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. 100% more personality. Okay, good. Yeah, this is all mock-up stuff. So if you see any of this, Andrea or Raquel or anyone who's on here, and you're like, oh no, please don't show that, just honestly send me a message. Like, this isn't live or anything. This is just me taking all the flipping awesome work that you lovely beans have done and just showing it off a bit more. Oh, right. I'm gonna go and do something and find some beef. Thank you very much for joining. It's been amazing to be back and get to hang out with all of you. And yeah, if you want to learn Photoshop with me, then there is a link somewhere in the chat. I think it's pinned at the bottom now instead of the top, but whatever. You enjoyed it, Andrea? Excellent. Mission accomplished. Andrea approves. That's what it's all about. Have an amazing weekend. I mean, I'll probably see you in the Discord in 10 minutes when Poppy starts sharing pictures of me that are highly inappropriate. So, you know, I'll say goodbye, but let's be real. It's not going to be for long, is it? Oh, that was so funny the other night when she's sharing all these stupid pictures and she shared one of me sleeping. I was like, right, I got her. I've got so many pictures of her sleeping that she would hate me to share. So I've got many aces up my sleeves. Anyway. Have a lush evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.